Today you're going to be making a piece of pottery using the coil method. So these are all coils, all these things that kind of look like a line. This is a coil, just a plain old straight coil. And so if you look at all of these, you can see there's a straight coils here, straight coils here. And then the straight coils are used to make the funky or fancy coil. Like that shape is the coil bent like that and attached. Spirals are made by rolling the coil up. The twists are made by putting two coils next to each other and twisting it. So before you get into making this pot, you've hopefully done some practice with making these different types of coils. And we're going to get started with a low pinch pot base. So if you look here, you can see that this was a pinch pot at the bottom, and then the artist built upward using coils. This pinch pot's a little bit bigger, and that one's kind of low. This one was actually a flat pancake base. And here's one that you may have made before when you were younger, which is a pretty tall standard pinch pot with just two coils on it. So if you've done this before, what we're doing now is a lot like this. We're just going higher and using some more complicated coils. So to make the pinch pot, you're going to start with your chunk of clay. Make sure you use your stiff stop sign hand. So not fingers flopping around, tight together. You use your hand muscles to squeeze it into a sphere. And then you can use your strong, stiff stop sign hands to roll it. And once you get it into a sphere, you don't want to do too much. Remember, the more you work with the clay, the more cracks it gets, it dries out. So next you get your thumb and press it in. You want to go to where you can feel that it's almost to the bottom, but you don't want to poke through. All right, so once you've got your thumb in there, you're going to use your pincher, so your two fingers, and pinch. Slow and gentle, pinch, and then turn. Now, this clay is already cracking. That's okay. We can use our fingers to smush it back together. We can also dip one finger into water to help smooth it out. It's very easy to overuse water. You do not want to overuse water. You'll turn it into a big mud puddle. All right, don't worry about cracks too much, but you're going to keep going with your thumb on the inside, fingers on the outside, and then you can do some tapping to get a flat base. You could also press around to open it a little wider. So I'm pushing the base or bottom of it out wider. So you kind of got to make a decision here. How wide do you want this? And you notice this one, it goes out and then back in. Some of these other ones just go all the way out. So however your base starts, it doesn't mean it has to stay straight or even get smaller. It could get bigger, but think about it, make a decision. This is nice and thick, and this is important. Here's an example of one that would be a fine pinch pot, but not very good for building up. You want it thick enough that you can lay a coil on it, and it's going to easily rest there. If I try to attach a coil to something that's been pinched really thin, I'm going to have a harder time. All right, so once I have my base, the first thing I'm going to do is attach a normal straight coil, something like this. So I'm going to wrap it around. I don't want it to overlap. I can just rip it and connect it. Now, this has got a lot of cracks. It's kind of been sitting here for a minute. I can smooth it if I want, or I can do all my smoothing at the end. The most important thing is that I need to smooth out the inside of this so that it stays attached. So I'm using my thumb and pushing down, supporting the back with my opposite hand. So your thumb is fine. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. You can pinch the back with your fingers, push down with your thumb. You could put a whole hand there and then push down with a thumb or with a finger or with your little tool. But you have to completely get rid of that line, also called a seam. So if you look inside of here, you see the coils on the outside, but not on the inside. That's what keeps it sturdy. Okay, so I've got a pinch pot and then one plain coil. Now would be the time to add something funky. And I've pre-made some funky ones. Bring them over here. So I call this one the inchworm. I made this by taking a regular coil, rolling it with my stop sign hands. My fingers are tight together. And then going back and forth. And so I made multiple pieces because whatever I make, I need enough to go all the way around the pot. So I'm attaching it, supporting it. Okay, this is a little too long. Rip some off. Now, look how much harder this is to support than just a standard straight coil. So I'm gonna have to be really careful as I smooth this out. So remember, I gotta smooth out the inside, because if I just smush this together like this, when I cook it in the kiln, all of this would fall apart. The kiln puts a lot of stress on the clay, so it has to be very sturdy. So I'm using this whole hand to support the back, and I'm using the thumb on my opposite hand to smooth. I can pull the clay up or down. So at this moment, I'm pulling clay from the base of the pot and pulling it up over those coils. Now, in between each funky layer, so I had one straight coil, and then I'm gonna call my inchworm coil a funky coil. The best thing to do is to do a straight coil next. That helps with the stability. So if we look close at this pot, it's like straight, twist, straight, baby spheres, straight, spiral, straight, inchworm, straight, straight, baby spheres. All these straight coils help provide stability. Straight, straight, twist, straight, spiral. So if I get to where it's hard to smooth these out, which it kind of is, I can keep working on it. Slow and steady is the key. This is a project where it could be easy to get frustrated and give up, but we're practicing perseverance. We're working through. So if I'm getting to where it's hard to get enough clay to make this smooth, I can move on to my next straight coil in hopes that I have enough clay there to pull downward. So again, making a coil, starting with my clay, squeezing it into a hot dog shape, using my stop sign hands, rolling. The key is getting it a similar thickness all the way across. You can also roll it on the table. That's kind of long. I could make some space, keep my fingers tight together. And since I know that I want to use some of the clay from this coil to stabilize in here, I could even make it a little thicker. Wrap that around, rip it, and then I can support the back and bring this clay from this nice thick coil down over my inchworm coils. So there's a lot to think about in how you're making this. And remember, you can use your water sparingly. If you use too much water, you're going to be disappointed in your big sloppy mud puddle. Also remember not to play with the clay. Don't just, while you're thinking of what to do, don't be just playing around with it. It dries it out really quickly if you're just playing around with it. Make sure you have a plan before you start moving the clay in your hands. All right, so don't go too far up without smoothing out every couple of layers, getting that inside totally smooth. So I need to keep working on this one a little bit more. But I'm gonna stop the video and let you get started on yours.